In this video, we will share a real example of how performance testing services from Correlsense helped a large IT organization find critical issues with a brand new application before it was rolled out to end users. This project started by deploying a fully functional version of SharePath by Correlsense in the test environment. As traffic is generated in the test environment, SharePath automatically builds a dependency map which illustrates all of the application components and how they interact. In this case, the users were surprised to find out that their Visio network diagram did not match reality. Next, as traffic flows through the test environment, SharePath automatically inventories and names all of the business transactions. As you can see here, we've blurred out the names of the transactions because these are real customer screenshots. In this example, we can see two high-volume transactions which are underperforming. Now, the question is how to improve the performance of these transactions. This is where SharePath's one-click problem isolation comes in. One-click problem isolation compares the behavior of user requests that meet the response time service level with those that do not. This comparison highlights a problem with very frequent and short-lived calls between tiers of the application, known as a cross-application chattiness problem. The transactions that meet the SLA usually access the database about 16 times for each individual end-user request, while transactions that do not meet the SLA generate roughly 10 times the calls to the database. The recommendation? Revise the application's database access methodology to reduce database access volume by design. We also looked at individual transactions to understand where their bottlenecks were. In this case, we can see that this particular transaction is spending 97% of its total round trip time waiting on the LDAP tier. People usually expect to see any application's problems within the application server, but in this case, the transaction never even hits the application server. Taking a look at an individual instance of this transaction, we can see all of the problematic LDAP calls. In another example, by using one-click problem isolation on the calls going to the database server, we can see that there is a stored procedure which is used by a number of slow transactions. One more click, and we can see which transactions use this stored procedure and to what extent. Here, in a profile of one of those transactions, we can see how dramatic the impact of the stored procedure is. Tune this, and you will make a big impact on application performance overall. From these examples, you can see how performance testing services from Correlsense dramatically reduce the time needed to analyze and test an application before it hits production. If this is something that you think can assist you, contact us to learn more about how performance testing services can identify issues which human beings typically cannot find and ensure a successful application rollout.